Hello everyone. I'm going to show you today how to change the temperature sensor for the coolant temp on the engine of a 2011 Smart Fortwo Pure. It's going to be identical for the Pure, the Passion, and the Barabbas. Throwing two check engine lights on this car for a engine coolant temp below threshold, and another one for a cylinder 1 misfire. This only happens under 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside. If I pull it inside the shop at night around 60 degrees, it'll fire up no problem in the morning. So there is an issue with the sensor, and I'll show you here what it's doing when I try to start it. All right, so at first notice, you will see the car is pretty much stripped of everything. We got it this way when it was actually a parts car for a wrecked one, and we are currently rebuilding it to put a lift kit on and have some fun with. Key to turn in the ignition here. And the car's only got 44,000 miles on it, which is kind of crazy, but this is what it does. Okay, so I connected it to the battery charger after pushing it inside the shop here. It was 15 degrees last night. Now the car is reading 33. Got the power turned up just a little bit here. And you can hear it tries to fire, but nothing. So I'm going to put my foot down on the gas pedal and pump it a little bit, even though this is an electronic fuel throttle or electronic fuel injection with a throttle body, unlike a carburetor. For some reason it will start at times if I push down the pedal. Sorry, all the wipers are going crazy in here for some reason. And there she is, started. Got the check engine light there. So I'm going to show you how to change this temperature sensor, along with switching out coil number 1. We're going to do that one anyway since it is an original coil and appears to be good, but we have extra ones around, and we're going to put that in and show you how we do that. All right, so the temperature sensor we are trying to change is actually located underneath down here. You can just see the head of the sensor if I can get my camera to focus. My fingers in the way, causing it to unfocus. But that is the sensor we were trying to get to right there. Unfortunately, I have very large hands, and it is located underneath this air box. In a previous video of mine, I showed you guys how to remove the air box to put in a silicone intake tube that I'm going to actually be replacing on this one as well, which eliminates this giant air box here and a lot of rattles, gives you a little bit better low-end torque and power, according to the butt dyno, as people call it. So I'm going to turn the camera off here whilst I get this loosened up. There is the hose clamp there, hose clamp there. There is this PCV tube here that goes from the intake to the head. There is a bracket here, and there is one also underneath that is hard to see. If I can get the camera up in there and show you guys here momentarily, I'll show you that. I have to pull all those loose to get this air box out so that we can reach the sensor. After way too much struggling, I finally got that air box out. I remembered you need to take this air box out that holds the air filter. It's held in by 2 screws. They are T30s, one here and one there. Take those out after you take the filter and the upper half of the housing out, and you just gotta shuffle it out of there. It is a pain, but it is doable. So I got it out of there, and now we can see down to where we have to be. There are a few sensors here, but we are going after this one right here. We're going to use a socket, a 3/4, and this is what the new sensor looks like right here. This is actually not a new sensor, it's a used one out of the engine I have at home that came actually in this car before I swapped this one into it, since the engine that was in it was bad. I'm going to get down in there and pull that out. Okay, might I add, where that sensor is, it does have coolant in it, so make sure you do this while the engine is cold. Also, make sure you have a deep dish socket. Unfortunately, I had an impact socket. It got most of the way on there, so I actually just took the connector off of the head of the old one that's actually bad in there and was able to get the impact socket on the rest of the way. So I'm going to clean up the surface there real quick, put a little bit of pipe dope on there, and we're going to thread it back in. And then we'll get to the coil here on cylinder 1, which is throwing a misfire as well. I'm going to change that out and put the car outside for the night and check it in the morning to see if what we did took care of the problem. All right, new sensor is in down there, all nice and snug, and the connector is in. Now we got to do cylinder 1 coil. Let me tell you that a lot of times these bolts here are full of rust and corrosion, obviously with it being a rear engine car and all the spray, and as you can tell, dirt getting thrown up under here. That being said, make sure you take a wire wheel to those first, or a wire brush, and clean any kind of corrosion up so you're not rounding out the heads. Although this coil does appear to be good, it is throwing a cylinder 1 misfire. I'm unsure if it is from the temperature sensor causing the hard start, causing the cylinder to misfire, or another reason. So since I'm already down here, I will change it since I have extra ones. All right, so here's our replacement coil we're going to be using. It is an OE, or actually this is aftermarket, since the OEM ones have a black cover and they have the stamping with the part number on there. I also did bring an extra coil bolt. This one isn't in the best condition, but we're not going to risk it. We'll just put that newer one in there. Got the bolt out. 10mm socket is used to do that. So there's not a lot of room in here either. So I apologize for blocking the view. The coil also barely clears when you pull it out. Coil appears to be in good condition with no cracks that are visible. See if we can focus on that. It says it's a diamond coil, which I believe is OEM for the car, but do not quote me 100% on that. Actually, this one also looks to be aftermarket. But we'll change it out with the other one that we have, just in case, since we're already in here. Reinstallation process is the same as pulling it out. Just gotta fish it in there. You have to go underneath this back portion here, and then you can drop it into the spark plug hole. Clock it the right direction, and we will put that 10mm in there and snug it down and plug the connection in. Well, finally the light decides it wants to come on. There is not a lot of room to work in here, so I couldn't take you along with the camera to show you guys everything I was doing. Got the coil wire right here. So not a lot of room. Got that in there. Now let's use a screwdriver here to push it down into place so my hand's not blocking the view. And I'll stick my hand in here to make sure it is clicked in all the way. Yep, clicked in now. All right, let's go fire it up. Don't want to run it too long without the airbox on there. There's a lot of dirt and garbage in here. I just want to make sure that everything seems to be cooperating. Well, if I could find the key, that would be helpful as well. There's the key right there. I don't know why I took it back there with me, but I did. I did have to charge the battery. It has been sitting for quite a while, and it was dead. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Obviously we are inside, and we're not going to know if the sensor took care of our problem till tomorrow morning when I can put it outside. Just making sure we don't have any leaks of coolant coming out of the engine there. It appears as though everything is all good. Push it outside here. As you can tell, it's still snowing. It's horrible. I don't like it. Car's been outside for a few hours. It's now 31 degrees. We're gonna try to start it here. Bear in mind, I still do not have an air filter on, so it could act up just a little bit. Seems to be running better. I will have to plug in and clear out the codes, see if maybe one of the codes is still in the system, causing it to act up. Let's take her for a little drive. And yes, that might have been me. I actually forgot to record jumping back in the car and testing it to see if it started just fine. Ooh, that's fun. We are going to get in so much trouble with this car playing around. But yeah, I would say that's a success. Running much better now, starts a lot easier. Just need to clear some codes out. Time to lift this thing. Well, that's going to do it for this video on how to change out the temperature sensor and the coil on a Smart Fortwo. Please stay tuned for more videos on this car. We're going to do an oil change on it here probably in the next day or two. I'll show you guys how to do that. I know there's a couple already online, but I'll just do a really quick one just to show you. Also, idea? We do have a lift kit for the car. Not sure 33s are going to clear, but should look pretty cool when done. Thanks for watching.